Welcome back to another spoiler-free anime review. The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat is an isekai anime that appears to try and subvert many of the norms within its subgenre while getting trapped in some of the others. Its story follows a middle-aged master assassin who wakes up in another world after being double-crossed in its first episode. Here, he's face-to-face with a god who tasks him with preventing the destruction of this new world by killing its hero. Subsequently, he's allowed to choose a series of RPG-like skills and traits to start over with. I was heavily intrigued by its first episode due to how rarely we have adult protagonists and see realistic assassins in anime. However, considering the overabundance of isekai, I was reluctant to see him restart his life as an anime child. Regardless, I found the following experience somewhat enjoyable. Its plot progression is oriented similarly to Berserk 1997, where its first episode depicts future events and vaguely introduces its main antagonist. Afterward, it snaps back to display a linear progression of significant events which cause the protagonist to develop to the extent we see within the first episode. So while the first episode depicts our protagonist being in command of a harem of warrior babes, these events are likely to transpire in its second season if we ever get one. I don't consider that a spoiler, I just think you'd enjoy the anime more if you're able to set your expectations appropriately. And in my opinion, the first episode sets your expectations a little too high. The bulk of this first season portrays our main character's growth from a child into his mid-teen years. He's basically got the optimum setup for his particular skill set considering he's raised by one of the world's most skilled assassins. So not only does he retain his memories, giving him an edge, his father fills in the gaps of this foreign world. He also benefits from his lifetime of accumulated knowledge regarding physics, science, and the understanding of human nature. This allows him to make the most of his magic since he's probably the smartest person alive. This sense of intellectual continuity was refreshing compared to some of the other isekai I've seen where they go to this new world and they don't really use their past knowledge for a whole lot, but I think he does a good job of that. While his magic prowess may give you the impression that he's overpowered, it's hard to fully determine the scale of threat in this universe due to a lack of real enemies. Its first season is just building the foundation where he's trained by his father, then trains his posse of cute yet deadly anime girls. Now about these girls, this is where the anime falls into the trappings of modern isekai. You see these big boobs? Well, now you're a creep because she's 12. To the anime's credit, the protagonist is like 50 and he's a professional, so he's not really interested in sexual things. It's just a bizarre design choice. However, the anime isn't devoid of uncomfortable moments where you're reminded of the main character's actual age. I guess I can understand where they're going with this because aesthetically, they look like any age-ambiguous anime girls. After all, its target audience is probably within their same age range. Some would argue that certain scenes are essential for its narrative. Still, I always say that a good author can write around anything. For example, two 14-year-olds didn't have to smell the main character's cum, yet they did it anyway, so the scene exists for a reason. What's the reason? My overall feelings on the world's finest assassin was that it's an interesting premise that got off to a slow start only to pick up steam in its final third with some intense action. Still, I don't think the content we have available currently represents what the story has to offer as a whole. Additionally, if there's no second season, then I find little reason to watch season 1. If you find its premise intriguing, you can still watch the anime now, but I just recommend waiting for its second season to be announced. I should also warn you that its opening alludes to what I assume is a massive spoiler for future content, so keep that in mind. I give the world's finest assassin a 7 out of 10. Suppose you're looking for another isekai that bucks the trend and is actually consistently good from its first season, I recommend Faraway Paladin, which is currently my top pick for fall 2021. What are your thoughts on the world's finest assassin? Thanks to Nia-chan for third-tier Patreon support, and to all who support these videos on Patreon or buy anime or manga using the affiliate links in the video description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon with another anime review.